Welcome back. Well, joining me now is Patricia Miller, and Patricia is an artist extraordinaire. And she was born in Wichita, or you were raised in Wichita.
I was born about three on Franklin Street in Riverside, about 3 blocks from where I live now.
Very cool. And you've been gone for a long time. Where all have you been?
50 years. First, I went to K-State, then Chicago for 7 years, and London for 30 years, San Francisco for 3, Durango, Colorado for 7, and back here.
Very cool. Well, we're glad you came back.
Thank you. I'm glad I did too.
And you've been very busy in the art world. Tell us a little bit about the sculpture that's right beside you.
Well, this is a piece of driftwood.
Let's pull it this way. There we go. Okay.
A piece of driftwood that I pulled out of the river near Durango, and I carved it to change the shape a bit and painted it. That's one of the ways I work. The big red piece behind you is another driftwood sculpture right out of the river.
And that's beautiful. And I think what's very cool about that is it's anything you want it to be.
Exactly. I was concerned about the beauty of the shape rather than telling a story.
Right. I think it's very cool. Okay, while we have a cameraman in here, can you tell us about this piece? Because I think that's very cool.
Yes. She's my mystic pig. She was part of a cedar tree that was hit by lightning. And I bought her by the roadside in California, and she was going to be a mother kangaroo, but there wasn't room for the baby.
Oh.
So she became a mythical animal. You'll see, because the different colors, the lighter piece was the outer part of the cedar tree, and she was a big pie-shaped piece of wood when I found her.
So do these things just kind of take shape in your mind's eye, and then you try to make that match what you see in your head?
Not usually. Usually I start with the wood or the clay or the stone and work into the shape from there. The exception, sometimes I do representational things. Of the ones I brought today, the most notable is this nude here. She is a butterfly woman. She's coming out of her cocoon.
I'm in the way here. Let me get out of it. There we go.
She's coming out of her cocoon, and she's looking at her hand wondering, what do you suppose this is? And so I made this of clay and then cast it in cold cast bronze. So there I had an idea first. More often than not, though, I have the material first.
Okay, and then the material, as you're working on it, it kind of shapes itself, or it kind of tells you what it's going to be.
It does. Often I'll start with a little clay maquette, just rough, just spend an hour on it, just so I will know, just knock off the corners and stuff, and then as I get into it, as you say, the material shows me if you make one adjustment, then it requires another one, and so on.
That's very cool. And I would imagine that because of the difference in material, and this is what, alabaster?
That's alabaster, and that one is 2 different pieces of alabaster. I recently learned how to cut and put together 2 different kinds of stone. And so that was the fun experiment of this. And you put the stone together with, you make it very smooth, then glue and pins. before you carve it.
Oh.
And then when you carve it, you have to be careful not to run into the pins.
Right. Yeah.
Thus, there are no holes right around the middle.
So I'm thinking that you work with clay and you work with alabaster, you work with driftwood, and like the tree trunk. There's a big difference in all those materials. How did you know how to work with them?
I'm mostly self-taught. I started studying sculpture at K-State, studying stone sculpture, but then life interfered, and I worked as a journalist for 45 years. And I came back to it and just bought some packs of clay and started on my living room floor. And one thing led to another, and off I went. I've been to a couple of seminars. I went to one to show me how to put two different stones together, but mostly I've just done it.
We had some other pictures here that this is this some more driftwood?
It is. That was a bigger stump, which I turned upside down and carved. You can't see here, but anyway, I painted it as well to decorate it.
Very cool. And it's so pretty. And this is a piece that's very similar to the mythic pig, but this is something else. Was this from the same tree?
It's from the same tree.
Okay.
And that is one that I just loved the shape and the wood, and just one thing led to another. But they were both on a wood pile by the side of the road, and they cost me $10 each.
Very cool. Very cool. So if people want to see your art, can they email you? I think we had your email address up there earlier.
They can. You can see up here my email is 4emma44@gmail.
Okay.
Oh,
and you have a Facebook page.
I do have a Facebook page under Patricia Miller.
Very cool. So if you want to see some more of Patricia's work, go visit her Facebook page and contact her by email, and maybe she can arrange a showing for you.
I'll be glad to.
This is, you really do fantastic work, and I appreciate you coming in today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you asking me.